Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Tuesday afternoon, July 13th, and we are looking at Window Trader's market profile of SPY, IWM, and Triple Qs. And for the first time in a little while, the bulls get knocked on their back for the entire afternoon. Very interesting afternoon. Let's start with Russell. Russell pretty much was a B shape all day. They end 9 wide. They do go out with a price probe. Again, it'll be interesting tomorrow. They have really nothing to lean on down to July 8th's low. So we're going to see with this price probe if it gets accepted tomorrow and how it reacts. It was a B shape for long liquidation most of the day. Triple Qs hit an all-time high, take out their overnight pre-market all-time high, and then just like us, flush out heavily in H, give like everything they had in the morning, and spend the entire afternoon pushing lower. However, they did not probe to the downside. They do end 7 wide. Now, SPY and ES, open in value, in balance, take the all-time high out, get an all-time high, have a reversal bar where we took out E's high and to make an all-time high, only to take out E's low, and from that point on, we one time frame down the entire afternoon. We end 7 wide. Volume, just about 50 million, so nothing really heavy. So for my money's worth, a couple of things. This, after the bond auction, and whatever reason they didn't like it, flushed out. And then anybody who was long from the morning and some longs from yesterday started getting out. But I think, for my money's worth, most of this all afternoon was shorts pushing. We didn't take out yesterday's low, so we're one time framing up still on the daily. All 3 time frames are up. So tomorrow's going to be really important. If we open above this mess, well, you're going to have some trap shorts again, and we could easily go to the all-time high. However, if we open inside of it, and certainly if we open below it, they're going to get more and more emboldened because A, you would stop the one-time framing up in a daily to put it into balance, and B, all these shorts would still be in the money, and then we'll see what happens inside of that trend day from the 9th and the lowest accepted price and the gap. There's a lot of catalysts tomorrow. We have PPI out in the morning. Again, you saw what happened with CPI this morning. They flushed it, and then we open and go to all-time highs. I think these numbers are pretty meaningless. That's why I'm surprised with the auction, the bond auction at the market reacted to it and stayed down there. More importantly, the one I really look at is when Powell's speaking. He's speaking tomorrow at noon, and then you have the Beige Book, another economic indicator at 2. And don't forget, Powell's also speaking at 9:30 Thursday morning. I mean, this guy thinks he's a talk show host. A couple of other things before we get to what happened today that you have to put in your memory bank. We had 2 price probes to the upside at all-time highs. Got rejected. The 9ths and the 12ths got rejected today. So again, is that a little dent in the armor for the bulls? We went to make new highs, but the price probes were rejected. We also go out with a price probe to the downside, and for the first time in a while, our value went from overlapping to higher to overlapping to lower. When was the last time the bears made a good effort to get that done? So just little things to keep in mind. Right now, everything is still healthy, but a lot of things to put in your memory bank as we go forward. As far as my trading, I had a good day, and it was all in the morning. My best trade of the day was in A period. A period ran up. I said the odds of them take it out. Well, a couple of things. The first trade I did was against C and I's high. I said the overnight was short. They pushed up. I said this is kind of where change took place. I actually took a 100 put play. The first time we got right above I of the 438 puts and immediately backed off and paid me nicely. Real quick trade, best trade of the day by far on 100 puts. Then I said, well, what's going to happen again now at the all-time high and the overnight high? Are they going to wait? I wasn't sure what they wanted to do, but I said we closed above the opening. Odds would have taken out A's high were good. When B pushed back, I got long the 436 calls, and it went up, back up. I actually took it off before we took out A's high, but it turned out to be a nice trade. Then right before my lunch, I took a small short. Took a small short in E. I was like, maybe they couldn't hold singles. I'm like, maybe they're getting tied and we'll come back in. I said, once F opened, I said, if F takes out E's high, D, I'm out. Well, F went up, took out D and E's high. I literally took off my 10 little puts. I went to make lunch, and when I came back, it was a reversal bar. So you could actually say I bought the all-time high in SPY almost, covering a small short that I lost on. And then the only other trade I did, and I got fortunate on it, when the market flushed, and again, I knew the auction was coming out, but at the time, I forgot it was the auction. I started along. Now I was looking for an afternoon pullback low initially. I started a small long, a 10 lot. I think it sees low, added 10, and then I bought size. I bought a good size when we got right above B. It was above B's low, and it rallied for me enough to take off. I was long 130. I took off 80. Should have took off the whole 130. I held on to 50 because it came back down, and once it came back below B's low, I took that off. So I took a really nice gain to a small gain because I held on to those 50. And then I realized, again, it's my fault, that the auction had taken place. So it wasn't just a normal flush. Obviously, they didn't like it. And that was it, because after that, what did we do all day? All afternoon, for the most part. We traded back and forth through the opening for 6 time frames. There was no confidence. Now, no doubt I could have taken a short in J against I's high, K against J's high, M against L's high, and I didn't. I just watched it. We were going back and forth through the opening. Could have done some trades, and on our flip side, you could have even taken longs, but the long would have been a more dangerous play. Again, as long as you have an out, you could have done it. But at least here, you know you're certainly out above the previous time frame's high. Here, fading a new low, it could get a lot more dicey, especially later in the day. So it was a decent day, and hopefully we're going to get some good volatility tomorrow. As far as destinations, now this is really weird. The upside has 2, and that's it. I'm using L's low, the price probe at 435.49, and then today's all-time high, 437.84. We were only 7 wide. There's no single prints. There's no afternoon rally high. There's nothing. So believe it or not, as bad as the bulls acted all afternoon, if these shorts get trapped tomorrow, we could easily go right back to the all-time high because there's nothing stopping us. So it's going to be key if we can get above I's high tomorrow, I and J. For the downside, today's low, 435.31. Then yesterday's low, 434.97. And you should have all the rest of those single prints I gave this morning and the daily low down to the gap. So please have those written down. The other one I'll add is that 427.52, which is last week's low. Now, let's go to the chart. I'm just going to show you the daily. Monthly and weekly are fine for now. Nothing changes until you take out a daily low. Right? The daily's up. It's one time framing up 3 days. It's an ugly candle, but it's still one time framing up. So, the first step that the bears have to take is obviously to take out today's low and put the daily into at least a 3-day balance, including tomorrow's trading, and maybe even a 4-day balance, right? That's the first step to take. If they're able to do that and get any acceleration, well then, since it's only Wednesday tomorrow, then the last week's low comes into play. Now, we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but if sellers ever showed up, stop the one-time framing up in the daily to come into balance, and then say go down on Thursday, well, now then what could possibly happen? An outside week down. Now, I know I'm getting way ahead of myself, but I'm just throwing out all the things that we think about and start forming as game plans as the week goes on. Right now, front and center, we're up. But things can change rather quickly, as we all know. So we'll see. Volume, again, only 50 million. We're going to need more than that to the downside to get this thing moving. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and my videos. Have a great evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.